Yeah, I'll send it after. All right, I think we're
All right.
live here.
If
Um,
you,
oh, go ahead.
never mind. No, good. If you send me the YouTube link, I'll put it on the app while we're
Cool.
live.
Yeah, I'll send you everything after. All
Okay.
right. Welcome, fellow spellbreakers. This is a very anticipated interview that I'm very excited for. At first, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Eric, who is a Mace Life Catalyst method practitioner. He helps people remove energetic blockages and trauma. I've used him personally. He's really, really good. He's offered all you spell breakers. If you're not satisfied, you don't pay. He helps you basically remove energetic blockages without the need to disclose what trauma you went through personally. If you're interested in that, email above ericmace at macelifecatalyst.com. Email him. He's a good dude. He'll hook you up. I think about 8 people have used him so far with 100% satisfaction from the podcast. So if you guys are dealing with energetic blockages, and don't we all, and you want to let go finally, reach out to him, learn more. Okay, so without further ado, we have the legendary Flat Earth Dave, also known as Dave Weiss. He is the OG of Flat Earthers. This dude is the definition of spell breaker. He is OG. He's been breaking spells around NASA, Antarctica, nukes, the cosmology, the ball deception, and more. We're going to get into a bunch of fun stuff today. I'm so excited. He is a public speaker, podcaster, founder of flatearthpodcast.com if you want to support him. As well, he supplies, and even he's a pickleball paddle aficionado. We're even going to get into pickleball.
We
So,
have the best pickleball paddles, the best out there. They're
I
out,
noticed.
the website is the Flat Earth Podcast, but easier to remember. FlatEarthDave.com gets you to where all
Okay.
my socials are. Everything you need to know about me. The app is there. The pickleball paddles are there. Um, Make sure you stretch before you play pickleball. I'm injured all summer because of the stupid pickleball. Great.
Man, I love it. Yeah, I love it. And you're a crypto investor too, right?
A little bit. We just our airdrop is happening as we speak right now. We're putting out a new crypto called Dome. Right, the Dome is the limit. It's higher than the moon, just so you know. And we're doing a free airdrop to everybody that has the app and puts in their MetaMask, and then for all the referrals that you have, you get a Dome sent in real time to your wallet. So it's going to be a very, very cool thing.
Dude, love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Dave, really want to thank you for getting on the podcast here. Yeah, we're going to get into a lot today. I honestly just want to hear your origin story a little bit. You know, you were a globe normie, you know, obviously
were.
lost, yeah, domer, lost in the world of flat-tardedness round-tardedness.
Globe
And
tardiness.
globe
Globe
tard.
tardiness.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you came to the truth about flat Earth. What happened? Walk us through what led you to be the man you are today.
It wasn't easy. I was born on the East Coast. I still live the same area where I was born, and went to college, like you're supposed to do, graduated college, went to corporate America. I had 2 or 3 major jobs my whole life, and I just rose to the top of each of those organizations. And then I started my own company. I left, our company was bought out, so I had an idea to make a better commercial solar power company, and did that. We're rising to the top of the charts there. And at the same time, I was doing a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, right? You should check out some of the old episodes if you can find them. And we did everything from 9/11 to, the Beachy School in Connecticut to the Boston Marathon to
Yeah.
everything else. And
Okay.
in the 3rd year, people started sending, hey, Dave, have you looked into flat Earth? And I just banned those people. You're stupid. I have an open mind, but not to that. And then I was forced by Sophia Smallstorm, another researcher who I respect a lot. She's like, Dave, you got to look. And I tried to debunk it. And that was 10 years ago. And here I am, Flat Earth Dave, talking to you.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Okay. And was it like
So
a
there's
process?
my origin story. It was a process because nobody likes having their ball taken away when your whole life before you could even talk is we're, before we can talk, we're given globes. We have globe mobiles, solar system mobiles over our crib. Sesame Street has astronauts on, right? And it doesn't matter whether you're a kid or an adult, you don't like having your ball taken away because it's the foundation of your world. But once you understand that the ball is a prison for your mind, and there is absolutely no proof of the ball, you just think there is. You can argue with globe people all day. People, there's different types of people. People that are just totally lost in the sauce. And there's people that are like, the earth isn't flat, it's a globe, obviously. And so you say to them, what's the radius of that globe? What's the circumference? How fast is it spinning at the equator? How fast is it spinning in Alaska? Do you know there's a difference? You know that how fast it's orbiting around the sun? Do you know that it's chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour? They don't know any of these things. Did you know that the law of thermodynamics says you can't have high pressure next to low pressure without a container? How do we have high pressure air next to a void, a vacuum of space, right? How does any of this work? And, you mentioned that you're in the middle of nowhere and you're using Starlink. We're going to talk about Starlink. We're going to take some time and we're going to talk about Starlink today. Because Starlink is not what you think it is.
Yeah, you think it's going on planes, airplanes or something?
Airplanes. There, you've been listening. You've been doing your work.
Yeah.
Think about this, right? So do you know what an orbit is? Like the space station, the satellites, they're orbiting the Earth, right? What does that mean? What does an orbit mean?
It means it's going around a ball.
It's going around a ball. So is it floating in space or is it free falling?
No, it's falling at the exact same amount that it's going sideways forever in perfect harmony.
Yeah. So it's falling. So if you drop something, let's say you're at the top of a tall building and you throw something or drop it, it's going to fall faster and faster, right? Even though it's going through the air, it's going to go faster and faster until it can't go any faster because of the wind resistance, right? Right, until it reaches its hull speed, if you will. Well, in space, there's no resistance. Why aren't those satellites speeding up? Why aren't they speeding up? Ask ChatGPT. Go in a big loop. It'll just be like, what? I don't know what you're saying. Well, yes, it does speed up. Then how does a geosynchronous orbit stay in place? Well, because it's geosynchronous. Well, I thought it was speeding up. Well, sorry for the confusion. Yes, it is speeding up. So all of these motions are going on. We're spinning, orbiting, and chasing the sun. And somehow a little satellite is going to stay in the perfect position and get magical energy from where is it getting its electricity from? Right?
Look, Dave, I don't know for sure. All I know is like when NASA says that something is correct, I mean, they're obviously right. NASA would never lie to us, Dave.
NASA, when they launch a satellite like this, watch right here. Ready? And look up and you're going to see the wire. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There it is. See that? Did you see the wire?
Are we sure that's just not space debris that happened to be?
Debris. Yeah, you're a NASA apologist. Listen, before the show, you told me you're a full flat earther. And you're just going to play the devil's advocate.
No, I didn't. Liar.
Liar. He did not say that, but it is true. But he did not say it.
Well, so I mean, I want this interview to be about you, right? But I'll just tell you where I'm at so far, so you could correct me. And I don't want to do flat Earth the whole time because you actually get into a lot of other stuff I really like. But for me. Like the Space Busters guys, I really like. The whole hairspray.
I just did 3 hours. Space Busters. You're talking about the show Space Busters.
Yeah, they got a BitChute channel and stuff.
Yeah. I just did a 3-hour interview with him. It literally just came out today, I think.
Yeah, okay. I love that guy. Like he got me through COVID. I love that dude. Just like the raspy voice.
He's the best.
Yeah. So like. All right, NASA is so fake. I totally agree. And maybe we could talk about that a bit for some of the guests. But for me, I'm kind of like NASA's fake. A lot of what we see, like you can see beyond the curve sometimes, not always. And then also like it makes zero sense that like a vacuum exists next to a non-vacuum, right? But then a lot of these flat Earth models, I'm just like, buddy, no. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of like, I think we are being lied to. I don't know to what extent. And I'm open to either. You know what I mean? And also, I think the vitriol that flat earthers get is ridiculous. Like, people get more, like, angry at flat earthers than, like, literal murderers. which is bizarre, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, I mean, why don't we just start with NASA, right? So walk us through, like, what do you think is going on with NASA?
I think NASA was created when the controlling elite discovered Antarctica and realized that we are in containment, and they quickly said, "Oh, no, don't look over there. Look over there. We're going to send some Freemasons up there, and we're going to prove that you live on a globe." Nobody leaves Earth, right? Even NASA says nobody leaves low Earth orbit. We went to the moon, 50 years ago, but we can't get above 250 miles right now.
Oh,
right?
yeah, we can't go back. Yeah,
38,000 miles, but now we can't get above low Earth orbit because of all. It's just insane.
Didn't they say that they like literally deleted the data and like removed all the equipment or something?
Well, there's just so many stories. They can't find it, and then all of the data, all of the what's the word I'm looking for? All of the data, all of the video of the moon landing. NASA was short of money, so they had to, and there was a shortage on videotape, actual videotape, and they taped over it.
Wait, did they literally say that? Because I've heard you say that.
Their story, they say it, that
Okay.
they taped over because there was a videotape shortage and they were short on money. So they just taped over the greatest achievement of mankind, right? You got to look at the founders of NASA. Ronald Hubbard, the founder of Scientology, Walt Disney, a cartoon animator, Werner von Braun, a Nazi, Jack Parsons, an occultist, and Aleister Crowley, most evil man in the world. These are the founders of NASA.
I didn't know Crowley was involved.
Yeah. So think about it. People don't even believe that when I tell them. It's like, Flight 93 hit the ground so hard that the ground swallowed the entire airplane. It liquefied, and then it hardened. And now they're so deep in the ground they can't even get the plane out ever. That's the official story. But you tell that to a normie, they're like, that's not the official story. That's the official story.
Yeah.
That's the official story. The stories are so stupid that, one, people don't believe that's the official story, and then they won't look into it. How's that for mind control? How's that?
Yeah. No, 100%.
It's comical. Like, you better laugh or cry, one or the other.
Yeah.
But this world is a comedy show. Comedians like JP and Jim Brewer. Comedy's right. This stuff is writing for themselves.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, I joke a lot about that because like a lot of the spells that control humans the most are the most obvious. Like, like they never make it so hard that you need like a PhD to figure it out. They make it so in your face that it's almost like by consent, like, hey, if you buy what we're pushing, like it's your fault. That's how it feels to me.
NASA either rents or owns one of the largest green screen studios in the world, if not the largest.
No, I didn't know that.
For practicing. Yeah. This is what we see. This is what they show us. Right? Let me tell you a quick story.
Yeah, please.
So one of our researchers, I'm trying not to throw too many names out there. A guy contacted him. He said he used to work for, I think it was DuPont, but don't get me wrong, it's just some big chemical company. And they said they were called over to one of the big NASA bases. And they said, we need a guy to come over here. We need a coating for some cement. Okay. So the guy shows up, big security at the gate. Finally he gets there. He gets an armed guard that just says, walk with me, right next to me. And they're walking through. He goes into the building and they're going through by all these cubicles. And as he's going by the cubicles, these lights are flashing, like siren lights. And he goes, is everything okay? He goes, it's just you. And basically anyone that's not like tagged and where they're supposed to be, lights go off. So it's like highly controlled.
Yeah.
But this guy's being escorted through. So that's a lot of security. They get to the office. The guy they need isn't there. The guy gets on the phone. He goes, stand in the corner. Gets on the phone. He's like, oh, they want me to take you to hangar 17, whatever. Yeah. And so they go there. The guy said the door was the biggest door he's ever seen, right? Yeah. He goes in. Beautiful polished cement floor, gigantic cranes. And he knows cranes. So he's like, there's a 50-ton crane, this crane, like all these different cranes in this gigantic building.
Right.
And he says, and then the floor... What's that movie with like the guys that are fighting and they're all standing behind the hole and they're all getting pushed into the hole into that circular hole? What's that movie?
Like Star Wars?
No, it wasn't Star Wars.
300?
Some like maybe it was a 300,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But he said in the floor was a perfect circle of like this highly polished, dense cement, like not like crappy cement.
Okay.
He even told what kind of cement it was, and he said it was about, I forget the dimensions, like 80 feet deep and 100 feet wide, or maybe even wider. Just a giant, perfect hole. And he says we need a coating on here. And the guy goes, okay, what's going to be in there? He goes, well, highly purified water. And he goes, okay, what's the pH? He goes, pH is going to be 7. He goes, yeah, we can do that. He goes, it needs to be black. He goes, yep, we can do black. And he goes, it needs to be non-gloss.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, that's an issue. He goes, because it's gonna, it's gonna leach and it's gonna eventually fleck off and this and that and whatever. And then he's trying to figure out what they're doing. He realized that's where they're doing the spacewalks, where the cranes are holding the different equipment at different levels, and then the guys are swimming in there in their scuba gear.
Yeah.
And
but Dave,
they're filming the spacewalks.
that's just to simulate. So you probably don't know this because you're not a scientist, but space. They're called gravity bubbles, or bubbles of gravity, right? So when you're in lower Earth orbit, gravity will just fleck off and it'll appear like a pool bubble, but it's really a gravity bubble. And so what they're doing is trying to simulate those space bubbles in the pool so that when they are in space, that they're not scared. Am I?
You know what? No, what I like. No, what I like in space, the Prada is going to design their new moon suit, so at least they're going to look good. Okay, at least they're going to look good. These are articles like NASA comes up with stuff like that, right? Right.
Yeah.
And so Werner von Braun, that he was in Project Paperclip, which is another psyop, a real psyop in a psyop. It's like a dream within a dream, right? Because there was no space race, so it's just the story of bringing these guys over, rocket scientists. So we got the best rocket scientists.
Yeah.
He wrote a book in 1957 called Project Mars.
Yeah.
And it's about a group of people that go to Mars, led by a guy named, I guess,
I don't know. Oh, okay.
Elon.
Yeah.
Elon. He wrote it in 1957. This is Elon's rocket going to go to Mars, and he said, I want to redesign it. I want to make it more pointy. I think he's just trolling us. Right?
Yeah.
That's just a coincidence, right? Because you're a coincidence theorist. Yes?
Yeah. Well, we dabble here,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, guys can follow. You got tons of videos on flatearthdave.com and your website. We can obviously go into depth here. I want to know first, why you think they're doing it, right? So, for NASA, I could at least see that, yeah, they were in a space race. They wanted to scare the commies and think, Daddy America is number one. And it makes sense that they tried to go, but, they had the backup to fake it, right? That's kind of right. I would do that, right? But do you go a step further? You think NASA exists literally to hide the fact that we're on a flat plane? Do you think that's really why they're there? And also, why are they hiding that it's there?
Yeah, they're hiding it because if you understand where you live in God's created natural world with your natural rights, then you are free from the system. But when you're born, you're immediately poisoned, and then you're immediately stamped and sealed and traded on the stock market. You got your birth certificate, and you're told the earth is a ball. So you're playing on their ball field. You got to play by their ball rules. And with their fake fiat money that they can just create out of thin air, then you're completely and totally controlled. If you unplug from the ball, you literally disconnect from their matrix and you stop giving them power. This is a spiritual war, and they're literally feeding off of our fear energy. They scare us with nukes, which are not real. On my website, flatearthdave.com, go to the nuke banner, watch listen. There's just some audio. Listen to that stuff, and then you will know that nukes aren't real. And then you could no longer be afraid when you're watching the news. If you don't watch the news because it gives you cancer, but if you're watching the news, and someone says nuke, you can just giggle. You can just laugh. Oh, that guy's a clown. Either he's stupid or a deceiver, right?
Yeah.
But so where was I going with that? What was the question?
Well, why are they doing it? You think
why?
Yeah.
It's to make you believe that you're insignificant, dilute the creator, make you think that you need the government, control the mind, govern the mind.
Yeah.
Right. You need the government to make up your, decide what you can and cannot do. You don't get your rights from the governments. You allow them to take your rights away. There's only God's law, and that's, we are free, we have free will, and don't harm anybody else, basically, right? And if they admit that the earth is flat and it's created by a creator, they can only make laws within those laws. But if they have their own ball, they can make any laws they want. And the thing is, a lie only lives in your imagination. The truth is the truth. So if you're living in an imaginary world, you've got to play by their imaginary rules. And there's a lot of them.
So do you think flat Earth's like the final boss? Like all the other conspiracies, like it is the final, like revelation down the rabbit hole?
The final conspiracy. Eddie Bravo said, I think it was Eddie. I think it was Eddie. He said when he found out about flat Earth, or maybe it was Greg Reese, that he was kind of bummed. He was kind of bummed out because he's like, he'll never have his mind blown that hard again. But that's not true. There's so many mind-blowing things here on flat Earth. But just let me show you. This is my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You can find it on my website. And these are just the people. I say my app represents a fraction of 1% of the flat earthers. Look how many people there are here in North America, right?
They're spreading like viruses.
Look at the UK. Well, the truth is the truth. Once you see the truth, you can't undeny it. It's like, going to a magician show and you go every day and wow, it's so awesome, so awesome. And then one day someone shows you how the trick is done. You can never go back. You can never go back. Once you see how stupid the globe is, then you can never go back. So, once you go flat, you never globe back.
Okay, so I don't want to spend the whole thing on flat Earth, even though I love it. But I want to get into, if you're talking to normies, show us what you think the top convincing proofs are, and then I'll tell you why I'm still not over the line yet as a flatty. And then
why don't you tell me why you think the Earth is a globe? That might be easier.
No, I maintain that I don't know for sure.
All right, what is your best proof that makes you not know for sure? You have to have something other than every observation you've ever seen is flat. Water lays flat. You've never felt yourself spinning. None of the stars ever change position, even though all the stars are orbiting other stars and everything's going in their own directions. But no two stars ever change positions, ever. Yeah. Besides that, the Georgia Guidestones had a little tiny hole that pointed towards Polaris for over 40 years, even though we're going 193 million miles from one side of the sun to the other, traveling 4.5 billion miles a year, never to return to where we were before. It just stayed there.
Yeah.
Okay? Every single thing I just said, each one of them alone proves the Earth is stationary and non-rotating. So why do you think the Earth could possibly be a curving globe?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we're like for flat earthers, where I appreciate is like they point out a lot of the absurdities of science. So science is incredibly absurd. Like, for example, even the age of the Earth, they just casually were like, the age of the universe, they thought it was 14 billion years. They're casually like, we think it's like 30 now. They're just updating it. So I think we're definitely being lied to, and I don't think they know the nature of reality. And for me, I'm kind of like I identify as like a non-local consciousness. Like I think consciousness is actually supreme in reality. Like we're almost like in a shared dream, a bit of a Gnostic in a sense. So meaning like I think what we could see is like a collective dream or illusion. So I think it could be manifested as a ball and it could be manifested as flat, depending on like the dominant narrative of people. Where I think they're where I think the general view of the shape of the Earth breaks down is like, you see these guys with the P900s who see way further than the curve, and they see things they're not supposed to see. And then, the people say, it's not possible. Then they show them on the map. Yeah, we're seeing like, 16 miles, 17 miles. And then they're like, it just like bends light around the ball, right? It's like, no, you guys can't explain what's going on there, we see a lot of things like that to me shows that like what their view of what's going on isn't there. But for me, like the flat Earth models don't make any sense to me. So for example, like Well, you know, all across the world, there's precise times where the sun
Yep.
rises, and the flat Earth model cannot accurately predict that. They cannot predict, oh, you know, Fiji will have, you know, a sunrise at 5:55, and then, you know, Chile will have it at 6:15. You know,
Why can't the flat Earth predict that?
show me a model where you guys can accurately predict it. Like I've seen what flat earthers say in your model, and no, for sure they don't. Like
So
like
the sky is a perfect clock, right? The sky is supposedly this gravitational mess of planets. Everything's pulling on each other. The sun, a ball of gas in a space vacuum, which is impossible, is holding on to Pluto, which is at a distance which you can't even fathom. But it can't hold on to our moon. It can't affect our moon. It can affect Mercury and Venus, which are closer to it. It can affect Juno and Uranus, but it doesn't affect our moon. So we have all these planetary alignments. Everything goes around. Nothing. Everything. Everyone just each gravity minds its own darn business, right? And then every single thing is exactly where it's supposed to be. There's a movie called The Mechanical Realm, which is about the Antikythera mechanism, which is found off of Greece, off the island of Antikythera, 2,000-year-old computer, basically, that perfectly predicts eclipses, planets' positions, everything, all based on a flat Earth. So you want a model? There it is. You got to watch the movie, and then you'll know. You can find that movie on my app if you hit the more resources, which is the web.
no,
button.
but go back there to your
Movies,
the sun,
movies. Right? Yeah.
because that's what I'm talking
the
about.
sun-
Now I'm just saying
Yeah.
there, like we know precisely what locations get what like sunrises, right?
Yeah.
And that you cannot with that model, because I've tried to do it. You cannot show me like you cannot predict the precise times of the sunrise
can.
in each location.
Absolutely, you absolutely you can, because it comes they know exactly where it is in the heliocentric model. All of those tuggings of gravity, it would change constantly. Like there's no way it could ever. You know about the three body problem, right? Do you know what the three body problem is?
Mm-hmm.
The three
I've seen
body
the show.
problem is well, no, not that. In a computer, they can get two masses, a sun and a planet, whatever, and have them orbit, and it'll know exactly what it's going to do forever. But if they get three bodies, right?
Okay,
They
yeah.
get three bodies, and these are three equal bodies. God forbid they were different, and they
Yeah.
put them in a simulation. All of a sudden, the gravity start pulling on each other, and they go into total chaos mode. And
Yeah.
they can never figure out. No one can figure out what it's going to do next. But we have hundreds of bodies in our solar system alone, billions and billions in our galaxy, and somehow everything is in perfect order, finer than a Swiss watch, right? That is impossible.
Yeah,
But I'm
no,
going to show you. You're
like,
talking about
I'm-
sunrise and sunset.
Yeah, like I'm with you most of the way. Just to be clear, like their explanation about the moon is totally ridiculous. Like the whack theory, where it's like some space rock that came in and then hit.
Yeah.
Like so, I'm with you in a lot of things. It's just like also the seasons. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. These seasons are good. I'm going to completely dismantle what you just brought up, okay? And then you are going to have to admit, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire when I'm done. You can tell me I'm wrong and tell me why, or you can you can tell me you can stop me and or tell me you're right. So this is what I want to show you. Where'd it go? There you go. So I want to show you that. I want to show you this. So this is I think this was July 8th or whatever. This is the Weather Channel. Now, is the Earth a ball in the heliocentric model? Yes. If you have a dark room and a single source light, anybody can do this. Get a big light, a big flashlight, spotlight, whatever, and put it on one side of the room and get a basketball. It will, no matter how you tilt and spin it, it'll only light up exactly half of the ball. It'll only light up exactly half of the ball. Agreed? Right?
Yeah.
Didn't think that through. Right?
Yeah.
But this is lighting up 70% of the ball. And they have to do that because the land masses that are this far over are lit at the same time. So let's take a look at what that looks like, right? Let's take a look. So here is day and night. On this is August 13th. And all of America, South America is in the total light, right? All of this. The only thing that's in the dark is Australia and these islands over here. That's really the only thing The only land that's in the dark. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is, forget what map this is. This is time and date showing us where it's light. And you can verify. Somebody in Alaska can talk to somebody over here. And yep, it's light, it's light, it's light, it's light, all at the same time. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So this is observable reality. Right. So now let's take a look. This is the flat Earth map. And I'm going to put the sun right where the sun was at that time during that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to lift it up. We're going to lift it up and see where the light goes. And the light is going to cover exactly these continents.
I see what you're saying.
Just like we're seeing here. So this is matching the flat Earth. Now let's look at the globe.
Yeah.
Let's look at the globe. So we're going to take their globe, which is ridiculous. No pilot ever brings a globe into the cockpit. We're going to take their globe. And we're going to take, just like I said, we got a single source light. We got a globe. It's tilted just like it's supposed to be, tilted to the sun. And watch carefully. We got Australia right there. And we're going to put Australia in the dark, just like it was. So Australia's in the dark. And now we're going to go to the other side of the globe. And we're going to see, where is America and South America? They're in the dark. They're totally in the dark. So that's not right. So maybe it's wrong on this side. So let's spin the globe. We'll put the light exactly where it was according to the time of date. So we got, California's just in dusk. We got light time right there. So that matches. And then we go back over here and all of Russia and everything else is in the dark.
Yeah. So wait.
Doesn't work.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. So it's an exact 50% when you have the spotlight, so you're replicating the sun. But if you go back, that's the mainstream light map.
This is the.
Where are you getting that?
Map.
Where's that
globe.
coming from?
That's the globe from NASA. That's the map.
That's from NASA? Like that's a light map?
No. This is time and date. This is just giving us, this is where it's light.
Yeah.
And this is how they explain it, right? The Weather Channel showed you a 70% lit sphere, impossible. A flat Earth map, which is reality, shows you, hey, light, a single source light can light up these areas and have these areas in the dark.
Yeah.
Okay? It can. It does work, but a globe does not work. Do you understand?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, if NASA's saying that at any given time 70% of the world is lit up, then that's definitely suspicious. But I'm more talking about like...
Wait. Before you... Let's stay here for a minute.
Yeah.
Observable reality matches measurable reality. Then we look at the globe. It doesn't work on a globe. You have to eliminate one of those. Are you eliminating this one that matches what we observe? Nope. Are you going to eliminate the globe?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to send you what I'm talking about, right? Oh, I lost you on Zoom here. Hang on. I sent it to you. And
what did you send?
Just like what I'm talking about, the Zoom maps here. Okay, you're back in the chat there. Oh man.
Okay. Yeah, it's the same thing. Time and date.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's like a precise, like to the minute prediction with the globe, the ball of when the sun's gonna come in, and I've never seen a flat earther do that, like to the minute.
You're wrong. So you see that little figure 8 where the sun is? That's called the analemma.
Yeah. I know what that is.
You're familiar with the analemma?
Yeah.
Why is it small in the north and big in the south?
Because the Earth is
fatter on the bottom. Are you listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson? Are you actually going to say that?
No, I'm joking. I know. No, I love how. What did he say again? It was like it's 100 miles fatter.
It's a little chubby on the bottom.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he's like a pear. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about seasons. Okay. So you and I are outside. It's freezing cold, and somebody comes by and says, "Oh, this is you. You're lying on the floor. I think you might be a girl." Okay. And somebody's holding a heat lamp directly over you.
Yeah.
And now you're warm. Yeah. And I say, that's your summer sun. Okay. I say, where's that sun? And you say, it's right up there. It's straight up.
Yeah.
And so I said, where's your sun? You're like, it's right directly over me. It's high in the sky. I'm warm. And then you say, well, where do you see it? I said, well, I see it like at a 40-degree angle. It's really low in the sky for me. And I'm kind of cold. Right? Then 6 months go by, and that person walks over, keeping the sun at the exact same height, and now I see it much higher in the sky, even though it's the same height.
Yeah.
And you see it lower in the sky. I'm warm, you're cold. My summer, your winter. Season, right? Because they tell us it's the tilt of the ball. We're just tilted away from the sun, even though we're 3.5 million miles closer to the sun in our winter in the north. It's colder. Well, that's only 1 or 2 or 3%, whatever. Okay, it's the tilt. If it was the tilt, think this through. What about sunrise in the summer here in Connecticut? At sunrise, when we're 3 million miles farther from the sun than we are in the summer. We're than we are in the winter, 3 million miles farther. At sunrise, I can feel the heat. I can take my shirt off. I can get a suntan. I'm warm. It should be freezing cold. I'm farther from the sun, and it couldn't be any more tilted away because the spin is tilt. The tilt is tilt. The spin is tilt, right? But there's the heat. Why? Because the sun is closer. It's closer. The sun is small. It's local. I don't think it's physical. I think it's a projected point of light, just like when you burned ants as a kid with a magnifying glass. You still do that?
I try not to.
Do you?
No.
Try not to. But that little hot point, if you lift the magnifying glass a foot in the air,
Yeah.
that point's not gone. It's just in the air. It's just in the air. I think that's how we see the sun. I think we see the sun coming through the firmament.
Yeah.
Right? Let me show you what I mean by an optical sun, because this will help wrap your mind. Because listen, the globe model makes you stupid because it has, this is it, the sun's physical, a physical gas ball in a space vacuum orbiting, holding on to Pluto and ignoring our moon. It does all that. But that's just the way it is. You just have to accept that. And where's my thing? If I could spell, I'd be there faster. Optics. Here we go. But on the flat Earth, we have a firmament. We don't know what the sun is. We don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know. So check this out. So I divided my room in half with a hanging sheet. I got this light here. It actually has a square lens on it, but it looks round for some reason. Yeah. It's 10 feet on the other side of it. Okay. Yeah. My wife's off to the left of me. I'm over here. I say, where do you see the sun? And she goes, I see it.
Yeah. Perspective. Yeah.
I said, she sees it right there. So if I drew a little circle, on the sheet, she sees it over there at the same time as I see it right there. We're seeing the same thing in two different positions.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how we see the sun.
Yeah. No, and I think flat earthers do a good job of that kind of stuff, like showing how much can be perspective. Like this is kind of where I'm at, right? Like I've seen like the globe model as a model, right? If you use it, okay, it will accurately predict to the minute forever the sun rises and sun sets across the entire planet.
Impossible in a heliocentric model. Impossible.
No, just hear me out. Just hear me out.
You're wrong.
I know, just let me finish.
Okay.
Like I've seen it, right? I've looked into this, right? And you see I am very open to flat earth, right? And I'm not debunking it. I'm just saying I've seen it. The actual model, right? If you like model that, it will predict to the minute based off where the sun is. It'll show what the time is in the world. And I've never seen a flat earther do that. That like based off the world being flat, it'll be at 1:11 p.m. it'll be this and then that. And as well with the winter. The globe model will accurately predict summers and winters, right? Having said that, I think it could also be a flat earth model as well works. But the models I've never seen a flat earther be like even your model, dude, like you'll have the sun and the moon and they're going around the same time, and then all of a sudden the moon just arbitrarily goes in front, and then they're like, oh no, the sun will be on the outer ridge of the the earth during winters, and then move back into a more tighter orbit.
We can prove that. We can actually prove that. We're talking about the analemma a moment ago.
Yeah.
And the reason that is because if the sun circled here, let me go back here. If the sun circled around the Tropic of Cancer, which is the inner yellow line, right? The inner yellow line right here, then in December it would have to go faster because it's a bigger circle.
Yeah.
It would have to go faster, right? It would have to go faster. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So it has to speed up and slow down. That's why the analemma is small and big. Now, here's something.
But have you predicted that? Go ahead.
Okay, ask me a question, then I'll answer.
No, like that's what I'm saying. So I see these models, and it could explain in a broad sense, but I'm talking like to the minute, right? Like, does that model to the minute predict accurately
Yes.
all sunrises and sunsets globally year round?
Absolutely, 100%. Look, it's a clock. The sun is a clock over a flat Earth.
Yeah.
It is the minute hand. It is the second hand. It is what time is based off of. Time is based off of the flat Earth sky clock. Without the sky clock, there is no time. So you're just backwards. You can take this, wrap it around a sphere, and put coordinate system on it.
Yeah.
Why do we have X and Y? Why do we have longitude and latitude? Where the hell is the Z-axis? Right? If you're navigating on a globe, where's the Z-axis?
Yeah.
If you're navigating a flat Earth, X and Y is all you need.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. Yeah. So, like, I looked into the Dave Farina. I know you guys had mega beef, but he's done a few videos showing like basically
watching him.
This is my point. I think a lot of what we see, I think it could be a ball or flat, and you could explain the same phenomenon.
So here's the thing. There's three baskets.
Do you see what I'm saying?
It works on a flat Earth and a globe Earth. Lots of things go in there.
Yeah.
Circumnavigation west.
Yeah.
Work on a flat Earth and a globe Earth. It works only on a flat Earth. Lots of things go there. We see too far.
Yeah.
Right? The stars never cross each other. Polaris was in through the hole in the Georgia Guidestones, right? Right? And then it only works on a globe Earth. Guess what? Nothing ever goes into that third basket. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Right? So wait, let's go back to time zones for a minute. We're talking about time zones, right?
Yeah.
So how do time zones work? Wait, how do time zones are 24 lines from the North Pole to the South Pole.
Yeah.
Just like that, right? It's like sections of an arc.
Yeah.
And then as the Earth spins, the sun goes through, wherever the sun is, it's noon. And then, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, all the way around. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Me? All right. How many time zones are here at the equator all the way around?
I don't know. The same, right? Like 12?
Well, what's the number? Well, no, time AM, PM. Come on.
Oh, 12.
There's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, so 12.
24.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant just the side that's facing the sun.
No,
you mean all? Okay.
No problem. Yeah. So there's 24 time zones, right?
Yeah.
24 time zones. How about down here? How many time zones are there?
Same. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Right? So the question I have for you, if the Earth was flat, those time zones are going to get wider and wider as you go south. Right?
Yeah.
And on a globe Earth, they're narrow here, they get wider, and then they get narrower again, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could literally stand exactly on the South Pole or on the North Pole, and you can put your foot in each time zone without ever moving, right? Theoretically, right? But if the Earth was flat, you would have the same, it would be the same in the north, but once you get past the equator, it wouldn't start shrinking, it would still keep expanding. Follow me. Mm-hmm. You have to think. Follow me.
Yeah.
So that we'd have to explain extra time zones, right? How many time zones are there?
In Antarctica? Well,
no, anywhere. Everywhere on Earth.
24.
How many time zones? 24.
Yeah.
That's what a ball requires. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. There's 19 time zones in the north, 24 in the tropics, and 32 in the south.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Do you remember they taught you that in school?
No, they never told me that.
You don't remember that because they never taught you that in school. Look it up. 32 in the south, 19 in the middle, 19 in the north, 24 in the middle.
Oh, and so, okay, so you're saying based off if it's flat, the 32 is because it's moving way faster on the outside.
The 32 is because it's more space.
Yeah.
There's more time zones. But when you wrap it around a ball, they cut out. Like if you have a big disc, a big circle of paper, and you want to wrap it around a basketball, the top's going to go pretty smooth. And once you get it past halfway, it's going to get really crumply. It's going to get you're going to have big flaps of paper. Yeah. So you have to cut off those flaps of paper to make it smooth, right?
Yeah.
There's big swaths of Southern Ocean that are off limits. They're off GPS. Nobody goes there.
Yeah.
Maybe other continents there.
Yeah,
we don't know.
I want to get into that. Yeah, no, I hear you. Like, I think their model is wrong. I think they're lying to us. Like the whole vacuums in space to me is just like, there's no way that
You made
that's possible.
you
Yeah.
made the comment that the flat Earth model cannot predict time perfectly, when in fact time is based off of the flat Earth model, not the globe model. It makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta look
Well,
into it more. But I love this point. I never heard that about the 32 time zones. Maybe we'll I might do a Twitter back and forth on that later, but again, I really do like I'm open, man. Like I really am open. I've just most flat earthers I've seen don't explain it in a way that I'm like, like
I appreciate it. You know, listen, and Dave Farina calls himself Professor Dave. He's a failed musician. He admits that he doesn't even know science, that he hires people that he consults with.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Google pushes him. Now, do you believe that the government is here to protect us and all that stuff? Do you believe they're trying to control humanity? Which you're on the like, you realize that we're in a shit show, right?
I think the government is here to save and protect you, and they love you, Dave, and they need to save you from yourself. You know,
Okay, Trump is our savior too. Yes,
he's the Antichrist.
he's gonna save us all.
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
Stop it. He's going to save us.
Oh
Stop
yeah,
it.
Sorry, I got it wrong. Meaning,
Yes.
wrong meaning.
Yes.
Yeah, man, I want to get into so much. Let's okay, so that's sweet. We'll talk more. I want to have you on again. Like I want to do a pure flat Earth one time. But for now,
Okay.
I want to dive
Let's
into
go somewhere else.
I want to go Antarctica, man, because Antarctica's so suspicious. Like all of these politicians are just going there the day of their election. You know,
Jim
boats.
Carrey went down during the election, right?
Yeah, everyone's right. So maybe walk us through, for those who don't know how suspicious Antarctica is generally and what's going on. Walk us through it, Davey.
Well, the first thing is Antarctica is the shoreline of our world, right? The shoreline of our world, right? Out of all the continents in the world, if Antarctica is a continent, whatever that land is, it's the highest land on the world on average. It's more than double anyone else. So if you're going to contain water, you want a high shoreline. That's Antarctica. It's the edge of our pond, right? People go, what happens if you get to the end of the earth? You know, you fall off. You get to the end of a pond. Fall off a pond or a lake? No, you step up onto the land, right? Antarctica is that land. What's beyond? Great question. I take it you've seen my Kiribati information that you want to see? Is that what you want me to discuss?
Yeah, go through it for somebody who hasn't really heard about why Antarctica is so suspicious. Right. Yeah, it's just like, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So it's suspicious because one, nobody is allowed to go there. Let me rephrase that. There is no independent exploration of the outer lands of Antarctica.
Yeah, you just can't go.
You just can't go. You can go on a guided tour. It costs like $40,000-$50,000. You freeze your ass off.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to independently explore. It's just like going to the edge of a lake. It's like pulling up to Long Island on a boat, Long Island, New York, and saying you know what's in California.
Yeah,
right?
we were looking into it in Argentina.
California.
My wife and I were gonna do it, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. It's expensive, and I encourage people to go observe what's there. But again, it's the only way to prove the Earth is flat or globe is to have free, independent exploration of Antarctica.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking up at the lights in the sky doesn't prove anything other than it will disprove the globe, but it won't disprove flat Earth. It'll just prove our understanding of the sky. Right.
Yeah.
This is just showing you that the edge of our lake, the edge of a lake, needs higher land. This is it. This isn't an iceberg. This is Antarctica. Right now, there are areas of Antarctica that are lower shoreline, but it quickly ramps up. It's not all an ice wall like this. This is not not what flat Earth is, right? So, like this is another area of Antarctica. Not a wall. You can put your boat up here, but again, it's still containing the oceans of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing is, how many oceans are there? There's the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Indian Ocean, and the Arctic.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't teach us about the Southern Ocean, which is bigger than all of them combined, and it's unexplored. That's weird. We want to go to Mars, but we don't even know what's in our Southern Ocean, right? Everything past 60 degrees south is off limits. Yeah, and if you want to file a permit to go there, it'll cost you like $2 million in fees and studies, and then they'll deny it and they keep the money. You don't get your money back. So it makes it impossible to go. Admiral Byrd flew out there, and ticker tape parade. Oh my God, amazing! And he went on the news and said that Antarctica, there's land bigger than the United States on the other side of the South Pole. That would be in between, for us, from where it came from, it would be in between Australia and South Africa. Do you think if there was another continent size of the United States that they would have noticed it by now? Right? You think they would have noticed it by now?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I don't think so.
I read Byrd's journals, but do you think those are legit? Admiral Byrd's
I think a lot of it until the last chapter where it was a totally different writing style, right? Like after he died, that's when it was released, and someone else wrote it.
Okay.
Right. So Commander Byrd, what does it say? Discovers new land in Antarctica. Right. So he talked about that, and then all of a sudden he dies. Okay, weird. Right? This is when him on the news. Look what's behind him.
Boom.
It's a flat Earth clock.
We got him.
It's a flat Earth clock. All right. Weird. It's all right. And then right after that, they started the Antarctic Treaty. They started NASA. And you know what? All the countries in the world were fighting over resources, power. Everyone's fighting this, fighting that. It's just a total mess. But everybody can agree on two things. No independent exploration of Antarctica, and everybody's got to get the jibby jab stuck in their arm. Weird how they agree on those two things, because it's all about controlling humanity. But I'm going to get to, and that way, how do they, it's a big area to patrol. They have these radar buoys that can sense waves, and there's all different ways. Like if you're going on a boat or an airplane, you will be intercepted by fighter jets, by warships. And there's 7 islands that go all the way around the Earth. One of them is the Falkland Islands. I don't know if you're old enough to remember the Falkland War. Why are we fighting over that stupid little island? And it's because it's a key to getting into Antarctica.
Yeah, like there'll be guys who like Australian dudes in boats, like they just like kind of ripping south, and then all of a sudden there'll be like Navy vessels like stopping them, just chilling there, right? Yeah.
Yep. And there's some that are not on film like that, where people did get permission, and then they get there and they're turned around, they're arrested, they're sent to jail. I mean, there's boats are seized, right? If the Earth was a globe, we can go from Santiago, Chile, to Australia. Just fly right around here, fly right around there, right? That would only work on a globe Earth. Now that flight does exist, but it's not that short of a flight. Yeah, it's not that short of a flight.
Just
now,
on that,
used to say,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say on that one. That's one I put in the flat Earth camp. Like when you look at all these plane routes, right? Like if you were to draw a straight line on the ball, it makes no sense what they're doing. Well, like because they'll go like from Argentina like up to UK, right, and then down to Africa or something. But then if you look on a flat Earth, it's a line. Those things I found really interesting. The plane routes.
Let me ask you a question. If the Earth is a globe, you got your equator around the middle. You with me?
Yeah.
And the equator's around the middle. There's hundreds or thousands of airports in the north. Any two combinations of a origin airport and a destination airport, and they're both in the north. Would any of those northern planes ever need to cross the equator to get to another northern airport?
No.
And guess what? They never have. Every northern airport, the destination to another northern airport, I don't care if they're on opposite sides of the world, both near the equator, one near the North Pole, doesn't matter. You would never need to cross below the equator. It doesn't make sense. And guess what? No plane ever does that in the north. Same should be true in the south. 2 southern airports should never have to go into the north.
But they do all the time, right? Yeah. Do you have that handy? Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Do I have it handy?
Dude,
Look
you're
they call me
professional.
Flat Earth Dave.
It's professional.
Okay? They call me Flat Earth Dave. I don't even need screen sharing. Okay. Right? You're all worried about screen sharing. I don't need no screen sharing. You can't stop me.
I love you,
Okay.
man. Dude, I love you.
New
It's
New
amazing.
Zealand to Argentina, the Great Circle Route, the Great Circle Route. That's how they trick you. It's
Yeah.
basically just here, boom, there. Not even going over Antarctica. There's islands out here with runways that could stop. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So they like going over land because in case you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you want to see the plan out? Right. This is the equator.
Yeah.
This the yellow line here is the equator.
Yeah.
Okay. It goes from New Zealand to San Francisco to Texas, and then all the way back down. Wait a minute. Why does this go here? This right here on the globe is shorter than the first leg of the trip.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to explain, Dave.
Yeah, it's easy to explain. New Zealand, San Francisco, Texas, Argentina. Get a straight edge. Tell me if that line is bent at all. It's a perfectly straight line.
Well, have you ever seen? Go back to the previous one there. Yeah. So, have you ever seen Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift?
What?
Have you seen that movie?
No.
The drift. You know what drifting is in a car, right?
Yeah. So it drifts. So
that's what they're doing. They're taking off in the plane, and then they're drifting the Earth, the ball, and it just looks that way.
I think we're gonna have to get into some good flat Earth comedy. I got some good comedy for you. You want some comedy?
Well, yeah, I want to get into. I don't know how much time you got. I want to get into Antarctica, but yeah, I'm down for whatever.
Well, I'm going back to Antarctica. We're gonna show you.
Yeah, what do you got?
By the way, I always preface this because there's a lot of people that think we're just in there and there's nothing past Antarctica. Okay, cool. Earth is flat, right? But I think there is stuff beyond Antarctica, but that's okay. We don't need to go there to prove the shape of the Earth. But there's a lot of evidence of land, outer lands. Okay.
Yeah, I'm way more interested in that actually, because
I'm gonna show you.
Go
blow your mind.
Please.
So you mentioned that you have you're having a kid.
Yeah.
First, second, third.
First, yeah.
First.
Yeah,
okay.
Man.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
So where's am I in Antarctica? All right. So this is, where am I? I have something. It's got a little sidetracked here. All right. So Antarctica and the North Pole are the two places that would prove flat Earth globe. Both of them are off limits physically, and guess what? They're off limits virtually. I can go on Google it. You can do this. I'll measure around South America. Gives me square miles, right there. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
What happens when I measure Antarctica? I go around it. It should give me the square miles, and watch what happens. What the heck is that? Is that a little weird? Hold on, back it up a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
It's doing this weird, kind of like everything has been wrapped around and it's trying to measure the outside and it's making a loop. And the funny thing is, if we go up to the north and we measure the North Pole, right? Let's go to the North Pole and we'll just say, okay, it goes nice big around the North Pole. You think it's going to give me the square miles? Nope. What's going on? So it's virtually and physically off limits. Now, wait a minute. Maybe it just doesn't work in the north. Let me measure Greenland. I go around Greenland. Okay? Works perfectly. Works perfectly, right? And then if you try to do the circumference of the Earth, right? So the Earth should be 24,901 miles around. So I'm going to pull a line all the way around the Earth, right? So I'm going to pull a line. Just fast forward so we don't take up too much time. So I'm pulling a line all the way around the Earth, and we're going to connect it. That should work. Oh, what's it doing? It just flipped. It won't let you pull a line all the way around the Earth.
Yeah, but that could just be like Google Earth sucking.
Yeah, well, it's weird. Because
obviously it's weird.
It won't work. And when I get back to where the line was, ready? I'm not so good connecting. Here it is. I'm going to connect it. Watch what happens. It's the same thing. Oh, it does the same thing. It does the same weird thing. Doesn't do it anywhere else. Just does it there. Okay?
Okay.
Antarctica. This is a encyclopedia we found.
Yeah.
And it's from 1954 and 1955.
Nice.
And right there it says that they were doing a trip around Antarctica. The trip took 22 days. Okay, Antarctica is 10,000 miles around, 22 days. Okay, by airplane. All right, weird. So they went from here to Little America base, which is right here, right?
Yeah.
And here it is. Here are all of the bases on a flat Earth map, right?
Yeah.
And they went from here. First stop was here. Second stop was here. Third stop, fourth stop. It took 22 days to go all the way. That makes sense. On a 10,000 mile little continent, it doesn't make any sense at all, right?
Yeah.
The expedition made extensive flights covering all of the Antarctic coasts.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
about
yeah.
the inland? What about the inland?
Yeah, wasn't there? I was listening to Eric DeBay, one of his books or something, and he's saying,
Yep.
wasn't there like an expedition in the 1800s or 1900s, and they found like the Antarctic ice wall, and they just kept going, and it was like years of like just endless following around
Well,
the ice
Captain
wall or
Cook
something like
tried
that.
to circle Antarctica twice, I think, or maybe more. And it took him 3.5 years. And he went over 68,000 miles. Should have been 10,000, 11, 12, 13, 14,000, 15,000, 68,000 miles. That's a problem.
Isn't that the
So they took
what's the circumference of the Earth?
the circumference at the widest part of the bulging equator, the pear-shaped equator, is 24,901 miles around, according to Neil dePaire Tyson.
Okay, so this guy, he says he went 60,000 miles around and didn't finish.
68,000.
Holy
68,000.
Yeah, see, that's
right?
what I'm saying. Things like that, like, I hear you, Davey. Like, you know.
So check this out. This is the Ellsworth Transatlantic Expedition. So they went from this little island,
Okay.
and then they went over to this other island right here,
Yeah.
and then they went to Little America, which was over here. Then they went to the South Pole,
Yeah.
right, which they're showing to be here,
Yeah.
and then they went back. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. How come they didn't go all the way across? Let's look at that. What's really going on? Okay. So he went here. So they started here, 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 and back. Let's zoom out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So they this is their trip right here. This is all they did, right? If we zoom out and we look at this map, he did this. They went from here to here to here to here to here. They didn't go here and pop up over here. They didn't explore all of this. All of this is bigger than all of the whole world. That's a possibility. We don't know what's out here,
Yeah.
right? That's all they did is this little cha-cha. Okay, this little peninsula. Now, by the way, this is a massive trip. Look at South America. South America is huge. This is almost as big as South America. That's a massive trip. You think you're told it's a little continent, right?
Yeah.
It's smaller than South America. You went, it was cold. You don't know. You can't see anything. The people that did it might actually believe they went to the South Pole.
Yeah.
But they just went and they said, hey, and they couldn't check because compasses don't work because it's too far from the north. And guess what? If GPS works, it's controlled by NASA. So they could be like, yeah, you're at 0 degrees. Sure, just dial it in 0. Okay, this is 0 right here. I mean, it's all just a fake construct.
Yeah.
Right? And then this other woman that supposedly went to the North Pole, she went here. This is her trip right here. Right? This is all she did. This is all she did. That's it. That's it. And because she's a woman and she was on skis and she had dogs, it's crazy. And then why are all of the mountains called Dome A and Dome B and Dome C?
Oh,
now,
shit.
if you undo this,
Firmament, bro.
you have to peel it out. Those are all the mountains that go around. Do you know those mountains are taller than Everest?
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Cool. Why don't they teach us that in school?
No, man, it's true. Like, the Antarctica is so suspicious. Like, yeah, you got these guys who are trying to boat around it. It took 68,000 miles. You got like all the people
Captain
before
Cook,
they win the
remember
elections are just going
Remember
down.
that, Captain Cook. Yeah, and these officials, they go down to what they call South Pole Station, one of those stations that I showed you near the shoreline,
Yeah.
and then they disappear for 3 days,
Yeah.
and then they report that they're back there, and then they go home. Where did they go?
Yeah.
Personally,
Yeah, what
I
do
don't
you
have any
think?
proof. I
What's
just
going
have
on?
testimony and some evidence. I think that there's cities of millions of people in Antarctica.
Like
We had a
breakaway
whistleblower.
civilization?
Now, we might be the breakaway civilization. Um, there's been some army guys that have NDAs, and they're like, there's millions of people living in Antarctica. They're not allowed to communicate with the inner world. Okay,
What?
that's just hearsay. I have no proof of it. I
Where's
have no
that
proof.
coming from? Like buddies of yours or?
Some army guys. There was a flat earther that was working on doing some housework, some like window install at this guy's 94 years old. Our army guy, he's chatting him up as he's changing his windows in his kitchen, and the army guy noticed the flat earth sticker on his car, and they said, "Hey, I like your sticker." And they, "Oh, flat earth, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was stationed in Antarctica." And so the person's like talking to him and asking him, and he said the guy got very nervous. He goes, "Listen, I can only tell you so much. I have an NDA until I'm 100 years old. Isn't that special?" Okay, 100 years old. And he goes, "What I can tell you is that there's millions of people living in Antarctica,
Shit.
and they're not allowed to communicate." Now, that's hearsay. Could be a crazy old man.
Obviously.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So if the Earth is a ball and we're tilted towards the sun, then you come around the other side, you're tilted away. Tilted. So the north and the south would have a balance. It would be the 6 months apart. It should be basically the same weather at the same latitudes, right? Same life at the same latitudes, right?
Yeah.
Right. Just January is their summer, and June and July is our summer.
Yeah.
Same thing, right? But in Antarctica, let me read this: no plants, no life, no plant of any kind, not even a lichen of moss has been found within 64 degrees parallel south latitude. 64. There's nothing. While north to a latitude of 83, which is farther than 64, it's 20 degrees farther north at an elevation of 2,000 feet above sea level, there is no absence of animal life. All kinds of animals and plants, both trees, four-legged creatures, birds, potatoes, cabbage, right? Man has never yet, what does it say? Never yet gone northward where vegetation of some sort does not exist. But at 64 degrees south, it's all gone. That matches the flat earth model. It does not match a globe model. It makes 0 sense on a globe model, right? So here's one I haven't shown in a long time. Check this out. We're zooming in on North Pole. Watch this. It might be hard to see. There's a glitch. Like when you're trying to zoom in on the North Pole, which used to have land, the old maps show 4 rivers and like 4 continents up there, but now it's all water. But it's really hard to see here. It totally glitches. Like they're hiding.
Dude, something's going on. Yeah.
They're hiding. Right.
Do you think it's like, because Bird was saying like it's like a oasis or something, right? Like, do you think it is a tropical oasis? Do you think it's high technology? Also, didn't you say you found like mega ships just like going into the Antarctic and disappearing?
You wanted to hear about Antarctica? I'm going a little long.
Sorry, man. No, sorry. Please continue.
No, it's all good. It's going good. I'm kind of saving that for last.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So what about flying, circumnavigating south to north, right? From pole to pole. So there was a thing called Last Flight, or I forget what it's called, and they went from the North Pole down here, right, through New York, and then South America. They went to the South Pole, and they went up back through Russia. Hey, they circumnavigated pole to pole. You see a problem with it? Let's put that exact coordinates on a flat Earth map. That's all they did.
Yeah,
that's all they did. If your town hall was at the center of your town, and the town hall was the North Pole of your town, and you walked all the way around the outskirts of your town, is your town a sphere? No, it's not. It's not. Right?
It's a dome, bro.
Yeah, another guy that did he was going for the Guinness Book of World Records. He went down, went here. He went to the South Pole, and then he said the weather was too bad, so he turned around and came back and went all the way up. And we tracked him when he was doing it because he had this thing called spider tracks. And we're like, yep, he didn't get it. He had to turn around. And of course he had to turn around because Earth is flat. Guinness Book gave him the world record for south-north circumnavigation, even though he didn't do it. This is all he did. Boom, 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 boom. That's all he did. That's his trip right there, right? And so why is Guinness giving him the record? The Antarctic sailboat race, a lot of people bring that up. The South has the heaviest, strongest winds in the world, but every single sailboat distance speed record has been done in the North by over like 200 miles.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that makes no sense. Stronger winds in the South, but GPS is saying you're going, X distance, and it's really 10X.
Yeah.
And you think you can't measure it because you're out in the water. So you really, those boats go 20, 30 miles an hour. If you look at the sailboat race and the distance that the globe says they went, and you divide time over distance, they're averaging 4 miles per hour.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So the winner of the race, it's like somebody going in the Indy 500 and go, yeah, I won. How fast are we going? 25.
But aren't these? Did they point that out? The actual people in the race.
There actually is one or two or maybe more people in that race, captains, that they know the Earth is flat. They whistle blew on it.
Okay.
And then last year, the year before, on their website, one leg of the race, they actually said that the one leg of the race was 32,000 miles from South Africa. This leg of the race, 32,000 miles. Wait a minute. The equator is only 25,000 miles. How is this leg of the race 32,000 miles? And then they had to go up here and like another 10 or 15, right? How is that? This was on their website.
Okay. Yeah.
So the circumference is 24,901 miles around. You're down here. Now you can't go right around because there's ice, so you have to go a little farther out, but it would have to be less than 24,000. It would have to be like 15,000 maybe 16, 17,000. But this leg is 32,000. This alone should end the discussion, but people just want to hold on to their ball, right? This is what the actual leg is. So this is the 32,000 right here. This, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And I think they actually go farther north than that, but that's a whole nother thing.
Has somebody made like a flat Earth Google Maps where it's like the flat Earth and you can measure the distances? Like, have you guys?
Yeah. Well,
you gotta get on that.
Yeah. I just need $6 billion and access to everything. Now think about this: GPS is free for everybody everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's closed source. No one's allowed to see the code because that's how they're hiding the flat Earth. That's how they're hiding the flat Earth. Why can't we see the code? Why can't we see the code? There's no reason. There's no national security. There's nothing. This is what you were talking about right here. So you can track ships, cargo ships, and cruise ships, and get all the information. Click on a ship, and you can see who they are, where they're going. 730 miles inside of Antarctica, which is 1.9 miles higher than the ocean. How does an active ship get that high in Antarctica? Found another one 905 miles in to the closest port. That was over 2.37 miles above sea level. How does an active ship get there? We click on it, and it says the ship is 850 meters long, 80 meters wide. I don't know about you, but that's a gigantic ship. I don't even know any ships that big. Yeah, gigantic ship. To me, these are like ships that are using, free energy. Who knows what they are, right? These are ships that we don't really get to access. So,
well, don't you? It shows the name of the ship, though, right? Can't you look up what ship it is?
So we clicked it. Thank you. Thanks for asking. And it said it is registered to the nation of Kiribati, which is spelled Kiribati with a T, and that's it. It doesn't say anything else. It doesn't say anything else. Okay. So now this map was found in a Buddhist temple, published in 1910 in a Hawaiian newspaper, showing all these continents out there. Now, remember what I said? We take that map and we wrap it around a basketball. All of these continents are going to get squished together, and we're going to call that Antarctica. You have to cut out all that paper. So it's going to be a big smush at the bottom. So just remember that for a moment. Remember that, right? So let's take a look where Kiribati is. And It's right there. I had to put a pin on it. It's a little friggin' sandbar in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Little sandbar. Okay. This little tiny island, right? And China and the US gave them $10 billion recently. 10 billion. What for? What are they doing there? Growing bananas? Okay. But they say that Kiribati is a very important trade route. Why does a giant ship have to stop at a sandbar? Why does giant so one of our investigators, people that were looking, they found the Captain Cook Hotel. Remember Captain Cook?
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy that went around 68,000 miles.
Yeah.
Found a Captain Cook bed and breakfast on Kiribati. Maybe it's someone that's just obsessed. But now we have a Captain Cook Hotel on that island. We've got a ship in an impossible place that we can't explain why it's going to this sandbar. Okay. Doesn't prove anything. Interesting. Now, if we look at all the ships that are pulling up to the gigantic pier, all of them, their destination, they have very limited information, and their destination was either unknown or Christmas Island.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's weird.
Yeah.
Right? And then if you know that nukes don't exist, they did nuke testing in Kiribati. The stories are so stupid. Okay? Look at these guys. A nuke bomb's going off over there. And these guys are just walking around. Would you be running the other way, hitting the deck, doing something? These guys are like, oh yeah, the nuke bomb. What's that? I think it's just a bonfire. Okay? But they want you to believe that it's a nuke bomb, and they show this picture, which is used all the time. It's been used for years.
Yeah.
Right? They just don't want you going. Anytime they say nuclear bombs, you should say, what are they really doing there? Okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then remember we were talking about time zones. There's a weird time zone that does this zigzag. It goes across 3.5 time zones. This is the dateline. And guess what's in the most suspicious spot? Kiribati. Weird. Why is it there? What does it prove? I don't know what it means. It means it's weird.
What's that time zone called? Is there a name for that one?
It's the International Dateline, right? It makes no sense. On a ball, we should have perfect sections of an orange, perfect lines. There's no other explanation. The ball is spinning. The sun is going around. The sun doesn't zigzag, right?
Yeah.
This is because remember all that paper we're squeezing around the ball and it gets crumpled up? It's crumpled up here. They're hiding. They're hiding the
Dave,
flat Earth.
what you don't get is the Earth has become overweight due to capitalism, so it's got a fat ass. Yeah. And then the sun bends the light around the ass, and it creates this illusion of weird time.
Can I mute you? I can actually mute you. I could. But I won't.
No, that's interesting, man. I didn't know that at all. Yeah, you drop a lot of knowledge, man. I just want to be.
So hold on. Yeah. We're almost done with this, but there's more. Wait. There's more. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Since our videos were going viral on this, and everyone's typing in Kiribati, and Google Earth takes you right there. Now you do it. It takes you to the other side of the world to this little nothing K. Like what? And so if you want to go find Kiribati, it's on the other side of the world now. And they changed the name to Kirimati with an M. They changed the name. There's Kirimati. This is what you'll find now. And then if we look, my old one, pronounced Kiribati. All right?
Interesting.
And the whole thing is pronounced Kiribati anyway. Why did they change the name? That's weird. Just weird. Yeah. Weird. Yeah. And then I told you that the time zones all changed. So what is really going on? This is what I think. So where is my? So we have that. So if the Earth was like this, which I believe it is, here's the ship from Kiribati going out here. Wrap that around a ball, and it's going to put it in the middle of a continent. What's out here? Other breakaway civilizations. What are they trading? Maybe they're just trading tuna fish. Where's all that tuna? Do you like sushi? Like, where's it all come from? There's always tuna everywhere. Fresh. Is it coming from the outer? Like, that's a lot more. Look, we have fishing in here or fishing all the way out here. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's computer chips. We had some interesting stories from some people at Intel that said they don't know where these chips are coming from. The CEO brings out a chip, then they mass produce it. And they bring out another chip that's 10 times faster and they mass produce it. Like, where are these chips coming from? Are weapons coming from there. Our technology coming from there. Maybe they're, who knows what they're trading? Maybe they're trading children.
Yeah.
I don't know. But how would you know? Because you didn't even hear about Kiribati until you started following me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just super suspicious to me. Like Antarctica to me, like
Super suspicious.
and all these
all I get
guys,
is a super-
and all
Can I
these
get
guys
a-
go down there, like the Pope and shit, right? And before their
can I-
elections, like it almost feels like the ring of power. Like, okay, you've been chosen to represent. Like, do you think there's like higher powers or something? Or?
I think the real controllers. I think all the people that we see, from the Rothschilds, everybody, are the puppet of the real puppet masters.
Yeah.
Okay, the real puppet masters, right? Since you were being hysterical, okay, we need to go over just a little SpaceX,
Oh yeah. Do you have the? Can you show the rat on the rocket? I love that one.
I hate the rat on the rocket. I'm not showing it. Okay.
All right. What do you got?
SpaceX. Their first picture of Earth. What do you say? Temperature pilot having a
Sex.
good time?
I see that's
Sex.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
like Aladdin, buddy. That's Disney right there.
Well, that's very Disney and NASA, the same company,
Yeah.
right? Then you got Jeff Bezos's Venus rocket, which looks like a in the male genitalia, and then you got Virgin Galactic, which looks
ovaries. Yeah.
That's just a coincidence, though, right? I mean, I'm just a pervert, right?
No, they're all pervy freaks. Yeah.
They are perfect. This is NASA. That's just a coincidence. It's radar, okay, and this is a rocket, and I just have a dirty mind. I have hilarious. A very dirty mind, okay. And then Jeff Bezos his cameraman either has epilepsy or something, because every time he does a rocket launch, his camera's doing that. You recognize that motion? I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Okay,
sick
so
ass.
So they're literally. I mean, it's hard for people to, like, why would they do that? No, they wouldn't do that. NASA's first trip to the moon. This is the trajectory. Okay. Didn't you draw those in 3rd grade or 4th grade? Maybe 5th grade. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's all phallic.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
And then on the space station, the International Fake Station, they're saying they don't like drinking out of a bag, coffee, so they developed this cup that they can actually drink out of. Look at this cup. Okay? You're having a baby. You know what that is.
Yeah,
you know what that
is.
Okay?
Yeah. It's so fun.
And watch this creepy freaking woman, whatever she is. Watch this. Look at this. Okay? Right?
Dude, I know. NASA's so fucked.
Right. Wait, that's funny. You gotta give it to them, right?
Dude. Yeah.
Look at this planet. Now think of like that old Nintendo game, just like a Nintendo 64. This is a butthole, and this is a poop. All right, Uranus. It's Uranus. All right, that might be pushing it, right? This is the new book for kids. This is the page of Uranus.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Is that just bad planning, right? And then this, I got to make these into separate slides so they're easier to see. These are what their deep space telescopes have been filming, these nebulas.
Yeah, I've seen these. Oh my god,
yeah. All right, fascinating.
Yeah, I know.
Fascinating.
It's so funny, man. It's so
funny.
Yeah, honestly, I think so much of it they are just like they make it so dumb and like retarded that like you have to like in order to believe that like that nebula is an anus, like it's almost your fault for believing that that's real. You know what I mean?
Right. But it is your fault. If you believe that, then it's your fault, because they're making it so obvious for us, so obvious. But you have to remember, if you can't touch it and measure it, you don't know what it is. Is this table, which one's longer and thinner?
The one on the left.
What if I told you they were the same size? Would you believe me? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm going to confuse you right now, and you have to make up your mind. Are they the same size? Is one thinner? Is one longer?
The one on the left, light brown, is thinner and longer.
It is. Are you sure?
Yeah.
So, so when you're looking up at the sky, at the sun, the moon, the planets, can you tell what shape they are? They look to be a shape. They look to be circular,
Yeah.
spherical, maybe, right? But I'm going to take a piece of paper, okay, covering that perfectly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to slide it over.
Oh my God.
Right now that I showed you,
He got us.
did it break the illusion? Nope, it did not break the illusion.
That's sweet. That's
You
awesome.
still can't see it,
Yeah.
right? So unless
great.
you can touch it and measure it, right? Now this one is going to blow your mind. Okay, so is that a rectangle or is that a parabola?
Rectangle.
It's a parabola. Okay, but you can.
Yeah.
That's really hard to tell because And now I'm going to spin it. It's going to spin in a circle, but it keeps changing direction. It's actually spinning in a circle, just like that. It's spinning in a circle.
Yeah.
But when we take the green screen away, it looks like it's going back and forth. Now, let me ask you a question. If I stop it and I put a pen, a stick, or whatever through one of those windows and then spin it, will that break the illusion?
No.
Will it stop? You won't be able to see it spinning all the way around. So I'm going to put a pen, a little piece of tape on the pen. I'm going to stick it in the window. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna spin it. Now, will I be able to tell it's spinning, or will it go back and forth?
You'll be able to tell. I don't
Okay,
know.
just spin up the wire. Let's spin up the wire. That's what you would think, right? And watch this. Tell me if you can sort this out in your brain. Right? It's just spinning clockwise. Look at the pencil.
Oh yeah. I've seen this. That's so cool. Yeah.
All right. So unless you can touch it and measure it, you can't say crap about it.
Yeah. No, I get that, and I think that's what I really appreciate about a lot of your work is, we call this podcast the Spellbreakers Podcast, right? Because essentially the controllers use perceptual magic against us, right? Either like look here, don't look there, casting spells, creating all of these they basically morph our perceptions of reality, right? And then create a false consensus. And I think, you really break a lot of those. And when you see how absurd a lot of this stuff is, it's pretty funny. And you said, you can't really go back.
So this was published was in all these magazines and everything, these science magazines. They're like, this is because it's a mirage, the heat and the cold and the different layers of air, and it's floating the ship. So let me ask a question. Is that ship a mirage floating above the water? Or is it actually a floating ship?
I don't know.
Is that a flying ship?
I don't know.
What do you think? I don't know. It's a good answer, right? It's actually a ship sitting on the water. You have a vanilla sky. If I crank up the contrast, I can start to see the water. The horizon is actually there.
Mm-hmm.
If I put a city there, now you can see that it's just on smooth water, right? You got a wind line here, and then the water just got smooth and was reflecting the sky, and without anything in the distance, your brain tells you that it's floating.
Yeah.
Right? It happened again here. Everyone's freaking out. Looks like this floating ship, but if you crank up you can just see this is water. It's just water. It's sitting on the water. You just can't tell where the horizon is because it's merging into the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. Well,
are you getting a brain cramp yet?
No, man. I really appreciate this. I love what you do. I love the energy you bring to it, and as I said, like for me, I haven't been convinced that the flat Earth models predict what is really going on. I'm still there.
Well, your comment about time makes no sense on a globe once you understand that. You're just stuck in the globe mentality.
I'm still a globe tired, dude. Damn it.
You still definitely are.
I'm trying, Davey. I am trying.
But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
We'll work
Go
offline.
But that's what I want you to do. You live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Go. And by the way, how pregnant is your wife?
She's doing like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Okay. You have to promise me you got to do this with your wife this weekend. Ready?
Yeah.
You're gonna wake up in the morning and you go, You have like a local breakfast place nearby, like a a bacon and eggs place, whatever.
Probably, yeah. We just
You
moved
have
to
a
a new
place that you
place, so we
okay.
just moved.
So
Yeah.
so listen, find a cool place to take your wife. Wake up in the morning and say, honey, let's brush our teeth and go out to breakfast. Brush your teeth and go out the door because that is the last time you are ever going to do that again after you have this baby because it's going to be diaper bags, babies, the logistics, the whole thing's going to fall apart, right? It's
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
last time. And then go to the park and put your feet up and look at your feet. That's the last time you're going to do that for a long time, buddy. It's a good thing, but I'm just telling you, if you don't do it, you're gonna regret it. You're gonna be like, damn, I should have done that. Take your wife out to breakfast on Saturday morning. All right.
Cool, man.
Um, my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, you can find it at flatearthdave.com. You can download it from Google Play. You can download it from iTunes. It's going to be a web version later this year for the computer. There's also a direct download if you don't want to deal with Google Play. If you have an Android phone, right on my website. There's the crash course on my website. Just turn off Netflix for a week and watch those videos, and you too will be a flat earther and lose friends and family. There's all sorts of stuff on here. It's got profiles. It's got a dating app. It's got Meetup Maker.
Nice.
We've got the new crypto thing. We've got the old world button, which is the Griffin right here. Amazing stuff right there. This channel right here is my favorite. My lunch break. Have you followed him at all?
No, I haven't heard of him.
My lunch break. YouTube. He's on every channel, but you can follow him on the app too. This is like cool old world stuff. It has books, right? And you're gonna need children's books. And by the way, so if I go to kids, and we've got kids books that you can read to your kid, teach them about the reality of our world. This book right here is a new book. It's a hardcover. Came out called Happus. It's a great storybook. I'm halfway through it. I love it. It's amazing, high quality book. And it's about some kids that live in the outer lands that heard about the inner lands and how crazy it was. And they went through a portal and got to the inner lands where we live.
That's
and
sweet.
it's about their adventure. It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome. You can read this to your kid 100 times. Called Happus. You can find it on the app. You can find it on Amazon. So
There you go. Yeah, guys, please
It
support.
does
Go ahead.
a million
Davey.
other things.
Yeah.
No, it does a million other things. And there's all sorts of stuff on the app. T-shirts, right? By the way, if you can't figure it out, it's not because you're stupid. You're not stupid. It's stupid. Okay? You're not stupid. It's stupid. You'll find that on my T-shirt shop.
I gotta get a tee.
On my website. On my website, there's a whole banner. T-shirts. All
I
right?
gotta get a tee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, last
All
one.
right.
What do you think? Yeah, guys, please support Davey. Final question on magnets or the compasses. So, do you think it's just a big magnet mountain that compasses are pulling towards? And also,
It's sure. Good.
and then also the magnetic north is moving. How do you explain that?
Is it moving? They're telling us it's moving. I think that has to do with the precession of the equinoxes. I think that there is a giant. Let me show you here. If I go to the images section and I type in maps, okay, boom. I think that we go here. So this is called the moon map, but forget that this map is on the moon. Okay, this is where we live in this green area, and our sun goes around. This is our North Pole, right where this center point, where this line is, and the North Pole migrates all the way around. It takes 26,000 years. So in 13,000 years, this is going to be inhabitable here, and this is going to be in Iceland here. And I think it's happened many times before. And if you say, is it a magnetic mountain? I'm not going past that it's not a floating magnetic mountain. I don't know because we're not allowed to explore there. But this world, if you look at the megalith stuff that's built all over the place, floating mountain fits right in with what physical reality that we can see. So I think there's a lot of stuff on there.
All right.
A lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
A lot of possibilities.
All right, man, we're gonna have to do it again. I want to be respectful for your time, guys. Please support Dave. Dave, I'll put your website, everything in the description below.
FlatEarthDave.com is all you need to put. FlatEarthDave.com, because everybody can remember that. FlatEarthDave.com. It's right there. The whole show. can't miss it. LadderDave.com.
Awesome, man.
And
Okay,
there's
Dave.
cool stuff on there.
Go
Cool
ahead.
stuff on my website. Check it out. That's it. Thanks, brother.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining everybody on the live. I'm going to close down the stream. Please comment below what you think, and please support Dave. I think he's a great guy. I love him, and we hope to have him on again.
All right.
Okay, bye,
Thanks.
guys.